Hello and welcome to Broad Ideas, the podcast where we explore the big questions of our time with curiosity and nuance. I'm your host, Kaye, and today we're diving into a topic that most people avoid, but that I believe deserves a standing ovation: the power of failure. Here's a fascinating paradox. We live in a society obsessed with success, yet every single successful person you admire has failed spectacularly. Thomas Edison tested 1,000 light bulbs before one worked. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers. Oprah was fired from her first television job. Yet we teach children to fear failure. We grade them harshly for mistakes. We equate failure with shame. And then we wonder why people are afraid to innovate, to take risks, and to create. The question I want to pose today is radical. What if failure isn't the opposite of success? What if failure is the path to success? Let's define failure clearly. Failure is not catastrophe. Failure is feedback. Failure is data. Failure is an experiment that didn't produce the expected result, which means you learned something invaluable. A student I worked with, David, applied to 15 jobs before getting hired. He was devastated by each rejection, but I asked him, "What did you learn from each one?" By rejection number 7, he completely rewrote his resume. By rejection number 12, he had redefined his interview skills. By rejection number 15, he got the job because he was a different, better prepared person. That's not failure, that's iteration. That's mastery in progress. Your brain learns more from failure than from success. Why? Because failure activates more neural pathways. When you succeed easily, your brain says, "Noted, file this away." When you fail, your brain says, "Alert, something unexpected happened. Let's investigate deeply." This is why the best learners aren't those who never fail. They're those who fail strategically and learn systematically. They have what psychologists call a growth mindset. They see challenges as opportunities, not threats. Not all failures are equal. Understanding which type your experience is changes how you respond. The first type is the learning failure. You tried something new and it didn't work as planned. This is gold. This is where innovation lives. You adjust and try again. Almost every successful business started as a learning failure. Second type is the threshold failure. You've hit your limit, not because you're incapable, but because you're at the edge of your current abilities. This is where growth happens. You're not failing because you're not good enough. You're failing because you're pushing into new territory. Type 3 is the system failure. You did everything right, but the system, timing, or circumstances weren't in your favor. You got rejected by the right company at the wrong time. Your product idea was brilliant, but the market wasn't ready. This isn't your failure, it's external. Learn from it, but not internalize it. There's a concept called deliberate practice. It's not just practice, it's practice focused on improving specific weak points, and it requires failing in controlled ways. Musicians practice the difficult passages over and over. Athletes drill their weaknesses. Entrepreneurs run dozens of small experiments to test hypotheses. They're all failing deliberately to improve systematically. This is how you move from failure to mastery. You don't avoid failure, you architect it strategically. Failing is inevitable. Failing well is a skill. Here are 4 principles. The first one, fail fast and small. Don't wait for perfection. Launch your idea when it's 60% ready. Get feedback quickly. The faster you fail, the faster you learn and iterate. Second, extract the lesson. After every failure, ask what specifically went wrong and what will I do differently? Write it down. This transforms failure from emotional trauma into intellectual data. Third, share your failures. This is radical but powerful. Tell someone about your failure. Share what you learned. This does 2 things. It removes shame and it multiplies the lesson by letting others learn from it too. Fourth, celebrate the attempt. You tried, that took courage. Most people never try. Acknowledge that. Pat yourself on the back, then get up and try again. Here's my question for you this week. What failure have you been avoiding? What idea are you afraid to attempt because you might fail? I'm inviting you to reframe it. Not, what if I fail? But, what if I fail, learn, and become unstoppable? Your failures aren't your shame. They're your education. They're the price you pay for extraordinary things. Every masterpiece in human history came after countless failures. Every person you admire has a graveyard of failed attempts behind them. The question isn't whether you'll fail. You will. The question is, you fail courageously and learn systematically? Will you fail forward? Thank you for exploring this broad idea with me. Remember, your failures aren't your destination. They're your direction. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you next week for more big question, more nuance, and more truth.